Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are after market close on Wednesday, October 27th. We're going to take a look at SoFi. Now, SoFi today is doing a couple of things here on the daily. One, it's basically done a full retracement of this pivot point, right? And at this point, I was saying that I was sort of watching to making sure we weren't sort of getting a hanging man kind of candlestick pattern and whatnot. And obviously we plowed right through that. But this downtrend resistance that I added here on the weekly in yellow is proving to be just a beast of an area to get through. It just can't seem to make any sustained price action through that area. And obviously it tried for several days, right? But now it's coming into territory of like keeping some of these support zones that we were talking about. You know, when we were up here, I was saying there's so many support areas to look at. So if it does start to drop, you should sort of like have a bunch of alarms going off, right? Every support that fails is an alarm bell going off. And at this point, we sort of have come back into this channel, which, you know, was a little bit of a support level, that upper bound, but clearly really feeling the resistance of this yellow line, appearing to have fallen through this 1993 for now, and maybe going to test this 1904. So those were sort of all the support zones that I was kind of willing to toy with. Now, just for transparency, since that's I try to always keep folks updated on where I'm sitting, but I tweeted this out at 11:25 today. You know, I had taken that $20 call option that I had mentioned in an earlier video, recent, but early, I can't remember exactly what day it was, but I swapped that out because I saw some other good plays forming, and this rejection out the VWAP here and it moving down and away seemed pretty clear to me that it was not going to come back today, or at least not in the near future. And like I said, I wanted to jump into some other plays. So, you know, at this point, I'm sort of trying to decipher what this action is going to be headed into earnings. Now, one thing before I talk about that I added to the chart here, this purple zone, it represents a 50% retracement level from, if I count the run up from here, of a low of 1683 to the high of 2178. So the next thing that I look for in sort of like pattern developments is not wanting this price action to settle below this 50% retracement level, because if it starts treating that as resistance, there's always the opportunity. We've seen this. I mean, you sort of see it here, right? This is a mini version of the worry is that you're going to get 100% retracement. You would have just made this big circle, right? Sort of, it's done that a lot, right? It doesn't always spell the end. Obviously, it did that here, and then, you know, was able to consolidate and then make a next big push up. But you see this a lot, right? Like 100 or nearly 100% retracement. If that were to be the case, that would shove us down like close to the $16 range potentially. Certainly, it would probably put us testing this 1753, or maybe this green previous resistance that flipped to support uptrend line. So that's why I'm sort of keeping these intact. But I'm not so concerned. Like, it closed below this 50% retracement level. And, you know, it's sitting at that level is right about, I can't remember exactly what the math is, but it's right around like 1928, 1930, something like that. But the thing that I'm sort of really looking for is, does it then pivot on that point, meaning flip it to clear resistance? If that's the case, obviously we would lose this, well, we'd put in jeopardy, I guess, losing this 1904 support, and we would really put in jeopardy losing this white up channel that we had been in. But that's the next big thing that I'm looking for, and that will probably influence what I do with my sort of commons position, like my regular shares positioning. Though I'll have to think about it quite a bit because, yeah, I don't know. I'll cross that bridge when we get there. We're not there. But, obviously if you're in it for the longer term, it may seem less impactful. So I sort of need to kind of rethink exactly what I want my positionings to be, which ones are swing, which ones are sort of very short term, and which ones are longer term. But I'll sort of like do updates as I think through that and make any decisions. The other thing though to note as we're sort of trending down here is the volume does still continue to stay quite low. I mean, you see all of these days under this blue line, and just yesterday was, the volume peaking up above it, but it's nowhere near the green volume, the buy volume that we saw in these days. So it has me kind of wondering if we might, maybe flatten out, consolidate right around this, 1904 support level or that purple zone, or if we may sell off a bit into this earnings. I don't know if sort of folks will get a little bit shaky if they start thinking back to the reaction to this earnings and it ran up a bit into that earnings. I don't know if they would have the stomach, since it has been having, pretty good month, if they would potentially be selling as we get closer to earnings, just to make sure that there's no sort of catastrophic feelings that we had last time with the drop. But that's kind of what I'm considering now. I know we've been talking about run up, but today really has me thinking about, is there going to be a drawdown headed into earnings for folks sort of fearing that they're going to lose their profits. If that's the case, it doesn't matter. Like, stocks don't do what you want them to do. You have to trade what you're given. So it goes. But yeah, so 1914 here today, bouncing a little bit, finding a little bit of support there. So 10 cents away from that 1904 support zone that we had charted. So, chart staying really well intact. This 1993, even though it's not super strong, that was where it was trying to scoop and regain today. And like I said, it just couldn't. Rejected right off the VWAP there, right? That was when I put the tweet out right about here. But, we'll see if it can kind of consolidate around this purple box, and if so, that would help me feel a little bit more, I guess, secure in the idea that, we might not be dropping quite a bit further. But like I said, I don't know. We'll just have to sort of keep eyes on it and see. Now, the other thing, somebody had sent this to me, but this person on Twitter had posted, this is today at 11:20 a.m., they had posted this from TrendSpider, which is something, if you recall, that I've been wanting to try out for a while and just haven't yet. Now, he's also showing the MACD here, which is looking like it wants to throw a bearish crossover there. And then the RSI coming down, if that is the RSI, to test the midline. But, he's saying, look, like we might have a really solid cup and handle forming here, and if so, then we might see a lot more upside sooner, but we'll see what comes of that. But I just wanted to share that as well. Flipping over to the data, the shorts today, again, another like basically nothing day. Days to cover, cost to borrow, utilization, short interest, percentage of the free float, all basically staying relatively sideways. It's slightly higher than we have been in recent videos. We're more situated in the 7s, but slight uptick, and like I broken recordly repeat myself, at over 10%, I'll start to sort of raise some alarm bells and put extra eyes on what the shorts are doing. I don't know if some shorts might try to pile in ahead of earnings, thinking, yeah, maybe also they would be thinking that there might be a sell-off leading up into earnings because folks are concerned after the last earnings, or if they think that it has a strong risk of dropping again on earnings, maybe they would pile in sort of at the very close in date range to earnings. But as you see here, we still have 20% upside on the analysts. It would be great to get more than 8s in there, because all of those catalysts have proved to be, or maybe not all of them, but many of those analyst catalysts have proved to be pretty solid movers for SoFi. And still, as this moving target of a 1 month range is sort of kicking out some of the bigger bumps in price that were a little over a month ago now, but still situated at over 13% in the last month. And so like I said, folks might just kind of be thinking this has been quite a hefty run up. Here's the month view. All right, so that's a pretty, you're down here at 1551 and you gained about $6 on a stock that reached less than 22. So that's really solid percentage gains. So folks might just be kind of thinking, I don't want to risk what happened at the last earnings and be stuck bag holding, or maybe bag holding again. So I wouldn't be shocked if that's just sort of like impacting. But you see this like clear down ticking in the volume. So, you know, I don't feel like there's huge volume increases in selling. You know, we see it a little bit here, but this is mostly still really solid buy volume, but you do see the sell volume picking up recently. But again, just trying to say it's in an overall down-ish trending volume stat. So, you know, if we saw huge volume spikes with selling pressure, then that would obviously be more concerning. But I know these days don't feel great when it's just dropping and dropping again. And but, you know, keep your risk in order and your account and your future bills will thank you, whatever you're using this money for. But all right, I'm just rambling on now. But in any case, I hope that you had a good hump day. Is today Wednesday? Yeah, a good hump day, and that you're able to finish the week off strong in the days ahead. I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.